I saw a tweet the other day that was sharing a video that must be going viral on TikTok or some other social platform about an individual, a professional who's sharing a day in her life at one of the big tech companies. I won't share which one, but imagine kind of a big tech company that has a big balance sheet. Let's put it that way. And the watching the video it's getting a lot of traction on Twitter, at least in the spheres that I follow, because the joke is that, okay, well, this is why the company is off 15% its all-time highs, right? Like the idea that this person in the video does very little work, and the whole point of the video is to show, from a first-hand point of view, a life in this individual's day, a work day. And she goes from, going in the morning and getting her coffee, and then, going from basically perk to perk to perk throughout a work day. Going from snacks to the ping pong table to the quiet room, and it seems like I'm not sure what the point of the video is trying to say, but it seems like very little work gets done. And in my conversations with executives at different companies and in different sectors, productivity is a real issue, especially in this kind of remote first and then this hybrid environment where companies probably want to maybe on average take the steps necessary to get back into the office, but because employees are enjoying working from home and stuff, that it's hard to do. And then from an employer branding standpoint, you've got to worry about turnover and what it's like to work at your organization. It's just a really messy place right now to be in talent acquisition and trying to separate yourself as an employer of choice. I think there's so many people, different kinds of workers, so many different kinds of people who want so many different kinds of things based on where you are, in the curve of a career and the curve of a life. I know kind of from firsthand experience that I've seen younger workers on both sides of the coin. Many of them, the ones that I've seen are desperate to get back into the office because they crave the way things used to be, 2.5, 3 years ago, and then kind of the camaraderie and kind of the environment of being in an office. And then on the flip side, I know a bunch of younger workers who, it's like biting teeth to get them back into the office, pulling teeth, sorry, rather. And you can kind of see the arguments on both sides. For those with a long commute, I can see how working from home is great. For those who maybe don't work in environments that require collaboration or that require kind of a hustle and bustle about everything, if you're in a more kind of maybe singularly creative, or if you're writing, or if you're doing that kind of work, I can see how working at home is not it would be the preferred option. There's this strange environment right now where companies really have to look at themselves and say, okay, well, who is it that we're trying to attract, and then really have the conviction to stick to that. I've got the quote here pulled up, and it's from an article a few years ago, but I thought the stat was interesting, and the idea is that Zero Cater, which is this office catering startup, is saying that on average their customers spend about $200,000 a year on office snacks alone. So companies have really over the years tried to make work a place where it is enjoyable to be. But I think what you're seeing now is the flip side, especially as people share these videos. I remember a kind of a video that went viral a few months ago, I think it was, about people sitting by a pool saying that they were product managers. These companies have worked very hard to build the cash flows and the margins to allow these kind of perks, but we run into an issue as a workforce and as a kind of a general economy when we get workers that really just go from perk to perk to perk to perk to perk throughout the day and get very little done. I was speaking to James, just kind of ideating on this topic yesterday, and he brought up a really interesting point around fiduciary responsibilities. Especially if you're a public company, which the video that I'm referring to here is a public company. Our managers and our executives at these companies, when they see things like this happen, people wasting basically time throughout a day or not being as productive as they can be, are they doing their fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders by allowing this to happen, by allowing people to go from perk to perk? We're going to coin the term perk hopping. But that's exactly what this is, which is people kind of, in combination with quiet quitting, kind of doing the absolute bare minimum to get by while taking advantage of everything that a company has to offer from an employer branding, from a employee experience standpoint. So I'm very curious to know what you think. Have you seen this happen at your company? Do you feel like people are taking advantage of company perks in this kind of weird hybrid world that we're living in right now, where we're all trying to find the ground under our feet, so to speak? And what's the solution? What's the solution to get people to understand that perks are there, as a benefit and not as a right? And you at least in my opinion, you got to hold people to some level of accountability in order to get anything done. And if this video that I'm referring to, and maybe you've seen it, but if this video that I'm referring to is real, I mean, it really is kind of stark how little gets done in a workday, and how much kind of companies are getting taken advantage of when it comes to the perks, at least, of being there. I mean, snacks and coffees and ping pong tables and quiet rooms. These are all just kind of lighthouses, or anecdotes in a sea of this stuff happening. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next one.